Hello, and welcome to Global Shift, where we track the global transition away from the neoliberal world disorder towards a new emerging planetary order, and help to unpack and make sense of the latest news and geopolitical events. This is to announce that I posted an article on the Global Shift website yesterday. I did so in order to highlight the importance of an announcement made by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in a phone conversation with his Iranian counterparty, the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian. Never a particularly engaging speaker, bin Salman, known to everybody as MBS, as a law graduate, is nevertheless not careless with his choice of words. Pezeshkian called him to thank him for organizing an extraordinary joint meeting of Arab and Islamic countries that discussed proceeding with a Chapter 7 invocation in the United Nations against Israel, an invocation which would declare Israel as a threat to world peace. If successful, such a decision would pose major constraints on the United States to go on giving unqualified support as it does to Netanyahu. This is not going through the United Nations Security Council. This will be going through the United Nations General Assembly. Be that as it may, this was not what was most important about that phone call. In the call, MBS told Pezeshkian that he hoped, in his words, to raise bilateral relations with Iran to the highest levels in all fields. Now, I point out in the article that MBS has been promoting better relations with Iran since 2021. So it's his baby, as it were, this relationship with Iran. It was his initiative that led to the 2023 peace deal with Iran, albeit that it was actually brokered by China. China is Saudi Arabia's main counterparty in its Vision 2030 development plan. This peace deal changed international relations in the Middle East. It dissipated at one stroke the Sunni-Shia divide that the United States had lent on as its divide and rule tool to dominate and coerce the region. The various articles on this site have covering the Middle East have followed assiduously the so-called new diplomacy that has bloomed during this fraught period, even as the war in Gaza and now the war in Lebanon have both gone from bad to worse. However, the strength of the statement in the phone call presents us with a distinct new, what I call Saudi move, that wants to show solidarity with Iran, even as Netanyahu now lobbies Trump for a war against the country. And Trump, at the moment, is busy shaping his cabinet. The concern was that Iran hawk Brian Hook had been appointed to shape the Trump administration's new cabinet in regard to foreign policy. It is clear, however, that MBS was putting an alternate scenario to Trump from that which Netanyahu was peddling: a road to peace with Iran instead of a road to war. In this, he has been actually greatly helped by the recent election of a reformist for Iranian president in the person of Masoud Pezeshkian, who seeks to improve relations with the United States and to negotiate the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, otherwise known as the nuclear deal, back into place. It is significant that immediately after MBS's Iranian phone call, Trump ruled out Iran hawk Mike Pompeo as Secretary of State. It had actually been Pompeo who had advised Trump in his last administration to cancel the JCPOA, the nuclear deal. It appears that Marco Rubio is proposed as the new Secretary of State. We have yet to see. He is a neoconservative by all accounts, but it is clear, I believe, that he doesn't have the kind of specific axe to grind against Iran that Pompeo has. Mike Waltz also is appointed as Trump's national security advisor. He's a military man who's in the past voiced fairly racist views about locals during his stint in Afghanistan. However, once again, he doesn't have that particular apocalyptic axe to grind, which the religiously minded Pompeo had about Iran. The choice of war over peace is clearly down to Trump now. And it is important to note that Netanyahu has purposely designed a situation for Trump where the choice facing the new president of the United States is pretty much a binary choice. Back me and go to war with Iran, or my government will fall, and there's no one else to take my place. Netanyahu has made sure to politically weaken all his rivals, especially the ones from the Israeli military, including Benny Gantz and Yoav Gallant. In the meantime, Trump has received $100 million from Sheldon Adelson's widow, just like he did from Adelson himself the last time he was in power. The Adelsons are the creators of Netanyahu and his regime. In return for the first lot of money back in 2016-17, Trump moved the US Embassy to Jerusalem and granted Israel what it was not really in his gift to grant, but he did so anyway. He gave Israel the Golan Heights, which Israel took from Syria by force in 1967. So one may ask, what will Trump do this time around? I go into some background on the history of Arab politics to put what MBS is doing in context. Without this background, the significance of what MBS is doing will be missed. I also do a brief epical survey of the world the Democrats in America have created for us. Once again, to put into context the significance of Trump's return to power, but also why it has been the case that the United States always finds itself going to war. I do highlight the fact that the Democrats, who actually, and despite interspersed Republican administrations, have defined America since the 1990s. I highlight the fact that the Democrats will leave behind the genocide in Gaza as their ultimate legacy. They're a spent force, and after this Trump admiration, there's likely to be much change in the politics of America. However, that's not really the main point of the article. That is about the conditions under which Trump is making decisions over Iran. Netanyahu has run out of space, failed in Gaza again and again and again, now failed in Lebanon, having devastated both places. He now wants to reach out and have a war in Iran. But the United States has to do it for him. That's the problem. Israel, even in its military heyday, couldn't have done such a thing by itself. Now, as a completely spent military force, one that has lost the escalation dominance it relied on to keep the region at bay, and with its economy in tatters and its society divided, the only thing left standing is a thug called Netanyahu, who is calling out to Trump to be rescued. Waging war on Iran has, at the best of times, been considered a bad idea by American strategists. Now, with the revolution in military technology that has taken place in the Middle East, it is an even worse idea. Besides, with the other revolutions, the one in international relations, MBS's message to Trump is clear. If you are going to do this, you're going to have to do it without Saudi Arabia. And since a bad decision on your part will radically endanger the Saudis' interests, you and the United States will not benefit from the business you could have had from us. The future of both the Gaza and Lebanese battlefields hang on this larger question. Trump has to decide whether to expand the war or row back on it and leave Netanyahu to his fate. Thank you for listening.